This is Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast. Did you guys see this? This is unbelievable. What is that all about, Kinger?
Get in here for the real thing. Like, let's get weird.
Maybe I blacked out trying to figure out what was going on.
Doubt, worry, fear, because that's what we're breaking the mold on here.
Welcome to Wild on 7th, presented by Pilot Games. We're here until it's here.
Welcome back to Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast. I'm Ryan Carter with my man, John King. This is brought to you by our friends at Pilot Games. Again, it is officially hockey season, and with that, I think everybody probably has their fundraisers going right now, whether it's selling raffle tickets, calendars, salsa, pizzas, whatever it might be. It's all in the name of helping these young kids get to experience their youth sports. And our friends at Pilot Games do that too. So when you're out, maybe sitting at the bar waiting for your kids to finish tryouts or practice, grab one of those tablets, play their games, because when you do, you have a chance to win some money, but your community wins too.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. And we wish that the Wild started off with a win-win, Kinger. They got the first one.
Oh, my God. Great job.
Not the second one.
You're starting hot.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my God. Tunnel walk. Tuxedo. No, that's a great start. I wish they did, too. Well, how do you want to get into this? Should we go in chronological order?
Might as well.
I got to tell you,
Well, hold on. First of all, how are you feeling? Like it's 2 games, but it feels like more significant than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I really like the torrid start from 97 and 12. Throw Rossi in there too. The first line is a handful. We'll have to talk about other things beyond that, but I think tonight against LA. Tomorrow against Dallas, 5-game road trip. Holy buckets! These first 10 games. We don't have a body of work yet, Carts. We're gonna say a bunch of stuff today that's probably, overreaction or underreaction because we
might not age well.
We just don't know, right? It's only 2 games. They were pretty different games. But I will tell you one thing that I loved. So we want to break the mold on this podcast and stop being Minnesota sports fans and waiting for the other shoe to drop and all that. You want to know how to do this perfectly? I recorded the opening night game in St. Louis. And I'm at a college hockey game, and I said to my daughter, somehow I'm going to find out the score of this game, and I really don't want to. I'm not looking for it, but I'm going to somehow find out the score without trying. Sure enough, the guy sitting next to me just randomly says out loud, Wild are up 2-0. So that's all I knew, and I got to go home and start watching a game. And I didn't know for sure if it was accurate information or if I heard it wrong, but watching a game, waiting for them to score and at least have a 2-0 lead at some point in the game. That's how I want our psychology to be. I think that's what it's like in New England now when Drake May is all of a sudden Tom Brady. And like if we can get that body language, if we can get on our front foot, that's the closest I've ever been to that because I'm watching this game waiting for good things to happen.
It's like watching the line in Vegas and just automatically banking those goals. You're like,
I think they're going to
plus 1.5.
And I'm thinking, I wonder when the good things are going to happen. Do they have a 2-0 lead at the end of the first, or is it in the middle of the second? And this is going to be enjoyable when it happens because I know nothing bad's going to happen until the 2 good things happen. Now, I didn't know if they lost 4-2 or 5-2, but if you could manufacture that psyche, both in the locker room and in the stands, that's how you get to the cup. Baby.
And are you basically asking all the listeners right now to just, whenever you're out in public, just mention the positive things that have occurred to the Wild?
Why
Let's say they were down 2-0, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is awful.
Oh, I actually had to, one of the guys in our group text, I finally had to say, dude, you are so negative. Stop being negative. Stop it. We have some good things happening here. We'll get into the whole contract stuff and how 97 has come out of the gates like Secretariat. But, I would just say, and I don't want to be a rube, right, or a company man or whatever, but, at some point, the glass, if it's half, it can be half full. You could look at it and say it's half full.
Yeah, it's your choice.
It's your choice. And around this whole state, I do not see much of that, right? It's like at some point you go, hey, Zeev got his first goal in the NHL. That's great. His parents were in town. That's fun. He actually got 2 points, if you were looking closely, versus, the puck bounced over a stick on the blue line one time. And, I really want to be a winner.
This is interesting. This thought just hit me right now. What's the only professional sports team of the big four that have won a championship in Minnesota?
The Minnesota Twins.
The Twins.
I was there, Game 6, baby.
They've done it twice.
Yep.
And what season is that sport?
It's in the summer.
Maybe part of the reason is we're like a glass half empty because we know winter is coming. It's like the Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. Like we know winter is coming.
It is.
And then at that point, once you know winter is coming, it's a glass half empty. But when you know summer's coming, it's the glass is half full.
Well, that was 1991, by the way. There's been a lot.
87.
I know, but there's been a lot of summers since then. But I hope not. I mean, I'm into your solar panel philosophy, and I still, if I were Billy, I still would take this team. You get into the playoffs. Right now, I would be looking at facilities in Scottsdale and just say, hey, we're going to base camp here for the entire playoffs. I don't know. I think you're onto something with that hot weather thing, but I can't get there now. I just want to get back into the tournament. That's the entire regular season for me is just punching your ticket to the postseason.
Yeah.
They're two completely different games. You see it in baseball as well. Playoff baseball and playoff hockey are the only sports, in my opinion, where they do not resemble each other, right? Like regular season hockey does not resemble Stanley Cup playoffs.
I would say basketball's in that camp.
Nah, man, basketball, I don't know. Even football, like you can we had a great game last night, Detroit, Kansas City, but like baseball is like chess in the postseason. Hockey's like gladiator in the postseason. I just think they're just absolutely different. Even Zeev, right? When he said he played in the playoffs last year, he was just like, I didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
My head was spinning.
I think that you're right. You've just got to get there. But I do think how you get there matters.
Absolutely.
So like you look at the Wild start right now. Let's just go the penalty kill alone. It's gotten off to a good start.
Yeah, they only gave up one.
Yeah, Rossi and Boldy are on it. They're using top six players in quotations.
Power play's been good too.
Power play's been good. But where I'm going with this is they're a three-line team right now. I think Ogren played a little over 6 minutes. Haight played a little over 8. Hinostroza, 9-ish, right? So now back to how you get there. You need to be able to get there, but get there fresh. Get there giving yourself a chance to be your best in that second season. And I don't think we're here yet, but that's a lot of minutes for these guys to log all year long. And I'll go ahead, I think this team will be compared to Edmonton because I think it has a similar and dangerous 1-2 combo up front, But Edmonton uses their top guys heavily.
Yeah.
But those guys have made it to the finals the last 2 years, so it can happen.
It can work. The thing I wanted to ask you about, the most troubling thing to me at the start is the defensive production on offense. Okay, so you got the 2 points out of Bouillon in game 2. You had no points from the D in a 5-0 win, and that was it in the second game. So there's somehow the units seem to be disconnected. I don't know what. This is a team that historically has played its best hockey when the defense is chipping in offensively.
Well, here's my take on that as the analyst right now.
Yeah, because I want to really hear what happened in the home opener, because I was there watching as a fan, but it was the weirdest game ever. We outshot them 52-32 or something, and I couldn't figure it out. It was just every time there was an exhale, start of a period, there was a guy screaming down and just scoring on us.
Well, so I think this has happened.
We're all over the place.
Some of D scoring, well, I'll get to all of it hopefully, but some of D scoring starts in their own end. Mm-hmm. And it's a breakout pass that leads to rush. And the Wild they're actually dynamite on rush plays to start the season. They're top 5 in rush offense right now, which isn't Minnesota Wild identity kind of hockey, but you've got Kaprizov, Boldy, these guys, Ryan Hartman, like they're making great plays. That third line's been dynamite, but they're breaking the puck out themselves. Like it's Hartman flipping it up to Trendy, getting up the ice and finishing it off. Right now I think what's happening with the decors, where for so long it's kind of been solid, but it feels like there are question marks back there right now. Like who's playing with Spurgeon? It's Bouillon, and then it was Faber and Middleton game one,
which I really like.
Yeah, it's Faber Middleton.
I thought Brodin and Faber almost looked a little uncomfortable in the home opener. There was something about it that was it looked like they were grinding gears a little bit. I don't know why. I know they've played together a lot, but Jake and Brock had especially when they were with that top line, that group of five, I was like, this is my favorite group of five to watch for whatever reason. But yeah, they switched that.
They switched it, and I think
playing with Jake for.
I think there's a ripple effect throughout all three pairs.
Possibly, yeah.
So now all of a sudden you had Faber and Brodin, who Brodin's first game hasn't played preseason games, and historically he's like the only player that's ever been able to do this. Jump in and play and look like he's played the last 30 straight games. So he has that ability. But I think Middleton was affected by this too, because he goes top pair to third pair. Now he's got a new partner. So you've got 4 Ds with new partners that haven't played with each other at all season long, trying to figure this out. You've got Juracek that's in, who's watching, and everybody knows it, and he's a young guy, and he's on the horizon, so he's there knocking on the door. What are you going to do? I just think right now there's a lot of moving parts in that decor, and with that, they're figuring out like the little plays and the communication that help create like a clean breakout. And when they have a clean breakout and they get up the ice and they get it into the forward's hands, they're going to generate some offense. But right now, that's not happening. And actually, we'll have a stat tonight. We're recording on Monday, right before the LA game, in the pregame show, talking about this, that their zone exits aren't great. They've had turnovers. You go to the St. Louis game, and everybody was giving pucks away, and it happened against Columbus too. So I think that's some of the reason, and I think it will come. Brodin being in the second game, it will help. But it's also a little nerve-wracking because you've got Juracek. Is he getting in there? You probably think he is on a back-to-back at some point. They want him to play, right?
They will, yep.
Yeah, so there's still like a lot of moving pieces, and I think it's going to take a little bit of time for guys to find chemistry and for that group to be solidified. And with that, I think we're going to have to accept some games where it just doesn't look like what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, that did not look like Wild hockey at the home opener. I mean, they played well in the first and were down 2-0. I made a live bet after the first, which didn't age well. But I was like, they're going to win. Like, we're winning this game, even though we were down 2-0. I'm like, we're going to win. I mean, we're playing better than them. Columbus is never in our zone. Like, we're going to be fine. We're going to settle down, and we're going to win this hockey game. And they would come back, you tie it, right? And then it would just be like a split, like a blink, just a blink. And that the other Kirill, I guess we can call him, all of a sudden it'd just be a goal. And usually it was like somebody pinched and their D partner was in the middle of the ice, and then they couldn't quite catch the guy coming to the net. You know? It was almost like we were caught a little deep, and then we were chasing a forward, and every time they shot it would go.
Or I think communication and chemistry was off because, again, we saw things we never see. Faber got beat with wide speed twice in that game. One on the game's first goal from Wood, and that was just a straight up the ice kind of play. It never happens. So that, I mean, when you have a guy that's as consistent as Faber and a mistake shows up like that, I think you can look at it and say, like, something's not right with him. That's not on him, even though he's the guy that got beat. It's like there's something else going on.
And I would agree. Even in that, I remember that play, and I was in that end before it happened, and I think Brodin was deep on his side, and Brock was kind of in no man's land a little bit, and then ended up chasing him and couldn't get there. But yeah, it was weird. But let's go back to St. Louis just because I want to get a couple notes from you. Hartman and Binnington is one of my favorite things in the world. Jordan Binnington just has to hate Ryan Hartman. The fact that he scored on that like mistake goal that like went off of his skate and he didn't even shoot it, and he's just kind of laughing when he runs by, and then he does the little run behind the net. I even think in the Columbus game, someone lost their mind and cross-checked Ryan as well. But whatever he does on the ice to just get under people's skin is outstanding. And we need him. This depth scoring thing is going to be everything. Absolutely everything, right? You got a point from Trennan. You got a point from JoJo. You got a couple goals from Hartman. But if we don't get that, that is the difference, whether it's Middleton, Faber, Spurgeon, Foligno, X chipping in. But if we don't get that, that's going to be the difference, right? Because we're going to need that depth scoring. We're going to need to find it. We need Zuccarello to come back just to kind of get a little more balance, because our top line is a handful, whether they're on the road or at home. But if that's it, I think it'll get hard.
Yeah. So Hartman on Binnington. Hartman.
I thought Binnington was gonna like snap.
Hartman's he's great because he provides so much personality and character to this team. Like just as a brand and as a group, like he is the spice. And Bill talks about it in this way. Your team needs character and characters, and for sure Hartman fills that characters kind of part of it. But don't you think like just watching it, like he's the hot sauce that brings the dish to life, and when he's on, there's all kinds of plays. Like when he was behind the net in St. Louis, and I think he's like free flowing creativity right now. Feels good. He tried from behind the net to flip a puck up off the glass and have it end up trying to bank off the back of Binnington and go into the net.
Off his head.
That was unbelievable. I've never seen that play before.
Well, and he's one of my favorite before game interviews, because he kind of does this thing where it's like Gorg will be interviewing him, and he just does this thing where it's like he hates it, but he totally doesn't hate it. And so like he'll always, whenever he asks a question, he kind of will be like, they'll be like, how did you get off to a hot start? What are you doing different? You had a great playoff. Yeah, well, just trying to, go out there and work. So he gives like a BS answer right away and almost like over the top. But he has said multiple times, I stopped thinking. I'm not thinking right now. I'm just playing free. That's what he said, exactly what you just said. He said he's just playing free. And I think that we're seeing, hopefully, that playoff Hartman and playoff Trennan are starting the season with us, even though we're not in the playoffs. And if we want to get back, we're going to need those guys. I mean, Ryan had a tough year last year before the playoffs. Trennan took a long time to get rolling till the playoffs. Like if Trennan can be murdering guys on the ice and Ryan Hartman is instigating and putting, points on the board, that's going to be a huge help.
One play that I sneaky loved from Hartman, he did a good job getting under the skin of Columbus too.
Yeah, the guy lost his mind. It was
indirectly drew
20 seconds after the play. What do you have to say to someone so the whistle's blown, and like this guy skates 5 feet and cross-checks him to the ice. Like, I don't know what you have to do. I would love to ask him to have somebody lose their mind.
We showed it.
You saw what he did?
Yeah, so they were battling a little bit, and Hartman is just good at waiting for a guy to be in a pressure situation and being in the right spot at the right time to say, good play, bud.
Yeah, he does a lot of positive,
chirps.
Keep your head in it, Jordan. you only gave 5 goals on 10 shots, but it's going to get better from here.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that drives people nuts.
Right, and that's what happened. So, Goodbranson, like he engaged with Hartman, and Hartman's stick caught his skate, and he goes down. He flips that puck up into the stands, and Hartman just comes by while Goodbranson's arguing his case on the ice, and Hartman gives him a tap on the butt with his stick, a gentle little tap, and just says, "Good job, bud. Don't worry about it. Good job. Good play." I assume I couldn't hear what he said.
Stick with it.
So then, obviously, like
win the next period.
Yeah, Goodbranson's wires touch. He gets up and cross-checks Hartman right in the back, and then we show a shot of Hartman on the bench, like
laughing,
just so happy. It's just happy on the bench, and it's antagonizing. But if he can stay on the line, this is the challenge for him. to not cross the line. Like maybe just what he needs to do is just stay positive with those chirps, you know? Keep the taps to a tap on the butt, you know? It's when he crosses the line, because I think the patience from the staff has worn thin. And he has to understand that. But I do think that he was a big factor. The other play I thought was sneaky good and so innocent and so dumb but effective was Merzlikins was on his game. That was clear right from the onset. And Hartman had like a wraparound play where the puck was like right on Merzlikins' pad. And all Hartman kept doing was just like beaver tapping the pad. Did you see it? It was like just trying to slap Merzlikins' pad just like as many times as he could just to upset somebody. And he did, you know? And I think he got in Merzlikins' head a little bit. I think Merzlikins was in the zone, so he ultimately he handled that. But Goodbranson was upset by it. Like he was in everybody's head.
I wanted to chase their goalie so bad just to hear Elvis has left the building. I mean, I hope somebody does that. Like if he gets pulled.
Elvis is now backstage.
If he gets pulled, you have to go on the monitor and say, you have to go on the PA and say, Elvis has left the building. I mean, that's what you say, right? But yeah, he was good. I mean, a lot of shots. I don't know how many of them were quality, but.
Well, that's where this is a weird situation right now because you're 2 games in, and to the point you made that this might not age well, is after the first game, it felt really good. It felt like, okay, the bounces are going your way. This team is good. The power play is good. The penalty kill was there. Gus had a shutout. This is great.
Think of that game. So you sign Kirill, big deal, all that noise, gets Gus. 3 points. You sign Gus, he gets a shutout.
Yep.
You sign Rossi, he gets a couple points, right? 5-0.
Where are you going to get your secondary scoring?
Ryan Hartman gets 2 points.
Everything was good.
And St. Louis is good. And St. Louis is mean. So that one was like, okay, put that in the bank. That's awesome. Then you got Columbus on opening night at home, and home opener, I should say. And it was just so messy and sloppy. And the thing that was weird in the building was I didn't feel like we played like it was the home opener. I talked about this too. There's a lot of pageantry to the home opener. Maybe it messes you up, right?
It can be, especially so. Like you think about it. Just look at the story arc. It's the Wild have a good game. It's St. Louis. We come home. It's green carpet. We feel good. We've got Columbus. You know, like this is a team that you can beat. You know, we're playing at Grand Casino Arena. Like we're better here. Which they still do need to be better than they were last year on home ice. But like you can see where a team starts to feel good about themselves, like goaltenders coming off a shutout and, you know, they got everything they needed in game 1. Consistency is the hardest thing to find. But yeah, all the pageantry of home opener can be a bad thing. Hines talked about that, saying like, what I like about our home opener is that we have a game under our belt. There can be like a lot of distraction for the home opener, but we were able to see what we have to do to win in game 1. And if we apply that to game 2, we'll be in a really good spot.
The thing I want to get your take on this too, it's similar to the D. So I do the prize picks. I like to do some gambling, no free ads, sponsor us prize picks. But Foligno and Trennan were plus minus 2.5 hits. It's the home opener. I would have taken it to my grave. Marcus is going to have over 2.5 hits, and Trennan's going to have over 2.5 hits. There's no way in hell you play a home opener and those 2 guys don't get their shots in. Trade paint, right? Trennan did go over, but Moose only had 1 hit in that game. So it was funny, your bold prediction on the lack of hitting, and I think it's a structural thing. Marcus was on the second line. Mm-hmm. So he's in a spot where that's not what he's supposed to be doing, right? So we don't have a checking line. We don't have a group of guys that are just there to be a pain in the ass and make you feel the weight of the 82-game schedule. And in that building on opening night, I would just think, and maybe it gets all erased because we got the guys doing the ceremonial puck drop and the green carpet and all of that, but I would have thought, you know, this is our building. We're just going to run around, you know, bang some bodies. Usually I would think maybe there's a fight in the first game just because it's kind of, I don't know if players think that way. But when you're a fan and you go to opening night, it's sort of like when Ryan Hartman plays Chicago, he usually ends up in the game notes. He's from there. I would have thought there's a group of guys, vets, that are like home opener. Boys, let's have some fun.
Yeah,
let's have some fun tonight.
You're going back to the Winnipeg home opener where Marcus Foligno had the jump punch on Dylan.
Absolutely.
7 goals scored, and it's back and forth.
Absolutely. Why not?
They can gear up off the ice everywhere.
No, I'm not faulting Moose. He's on the second line. I don't think they want him disconnecting from his line mates and, chasing guys around the ice. But it was a weird game that way. Even though the shots were adding up, we were out shooting them so much. It never really felt comfortable. I don't know how Columbus didn't impress me, even though they beat us. I don't feel like that's a strong hockey team, but they still got us.
Yeah. I think that the Wild, again, the Wild played well enough to win that game. They had a franchise record in shots, and quality chances. It's not like those shots were like easy saves for Merzlikins either. And Columbus's defense was under siege at times, and they couldn't get the puck out of their zone. And Goodbranson's getting frustrated, throwing it over the glass. They had like 3 delay of game penalties because they just couldn't handle the pressure. So the Wild played well. And you made the point where it just happened to be Columbus's day a little bit, where they would go the other direction. The puck would end up in the back of the net.
How was Gus? When you're in the building, you can't tell, right? So like on TV, did any of those he wants back?
Yeah.
A few of them?
I think anytime a goalie gets beat clean, they want it back.
Okay.
And he got beat clean 3 times.
Okay, so that was...
1 5-on-3 from Marchenko from the Ovechkin spot, beat him clean. That one you can be like, that's actually tough. It could be a good shot, you don't know, but it's not... He's not moving that much. He should be set on that one, but he got beat clean. And then Marchenko to start the second period, 9 seconds in, that's a killer, deflator.
Hated it.
He picked the puck up, came right through the middle of the ice. Good, high quality scoring chance, but beat him clean, no blocker. I think he'd like that one back. And I don't remember the third goal that beat him just straight clean. But they didn't touch him, just shot. Oh, it was Werenski. So Werenski beat him from high up in the slot. Just
great shot, actually.
There might have been screens and stuff like that, but it didn't touch anything, And where Gus is good, and he was in game 1, was fighting through traffic to get a piece of stuff, And I think he was, just okay. And he'll want the ones that beat him clean.
Another analyst question. So Kirill and Boldy are -3. That line in the Columbus game. Now they absolutely filled the score sheet as well.
So -2 empty net. So okay, yeah.
Oh, so it was an empty net on the other one. Okay, but I was just curious.
Well, but it still counts. But yes, that's what.
But this is going to become a debate, right? And I've got my bold predictions so far in my head that, like, I want Boldy to stay with Kirill forever and just go on this Leon and Connor ride together, Butch and Sundance. But is that because that line is so stacked offensively that people are picking on them defensively, or was that kind of random?
No, I mean,
because that means they got scored on like a lot. If they put in as many as they did and they're still -2. I mean, that means they were basically on the ice every time Columbus scored, for the most part.
Yeah, no, but some of that's because they're power play. So no plus minus on power play. So they're getting their points on the power play, and that's where I think there's not concern, but an area that they could be better is that a lot of this production. What do they have? They have 6 points and they have 5 power play points, right? So if they could do a little bit more damage, 5 on 5,
yeah,
that would be helpful. But I don't think that you can be that picky. Like, what are you going to say? Hey, we'd love you to have your 5 power play points, but could you please get 2 5-on-5 points a game too? But that's the difference. There is the points that are 5-on-5. I don't think they're getting picked on defensively.
I was just curious if that was like, oh, these guys, nobody's skating backwards here, folks. I mean, obviously Boldy's a penalty killer. I'm sure that, but I was just curious if teams were kind of saying, hey, we're going to take our medicine against these guys, but we can also get some against them.
Dean Evison did. He went heat on heat. It was Kirill versus Kirill.
Yep.
And that's what Evison wanted. And I don't think Hines really went away from it. Maybe at times, but Yeah, that group's going to be fine 5-on-5. The offense that they generated and the chances that they generated 5-on-5 were rush. I think that's another thing. The rush plays. And that group has the ability to make rush, but I think wild identity hockey is
not that.
But it's cycle, win a board battle, get a shot, get that second puck, and then cycle again. And then you've got Kirill, doing his thing, finding somebody wide open. That's what they want 5-on-5. That's how they control the game. When you trade chances, I think, and that's what they're learning. When they trade chances, they get burnt a little bit. The concern, and this is where we'll see tonight in the LA game, and I believe that there's pressure and less grace right now. Like, expectations for this group are not just make the playoffs. It's like be better than that. So there's not enough time. There won't be the grace to go on a 3-game skid during this road trip, which is going to be tough. You go LA, Dallas back-to-back, then you go out east, and you've got Washington and
Caps, Flyers back-to-back, and then Rangers, Devils. So this is a 5-gamer. They're leaving
8
town.
8 days, 5 games, and there's guys need to be good. You've got young guys that you're asking to be NHL ready because you're going to be relied upon on the road, ready to go.
Last change,
yeah. And it just feels that there's a little bit of pressure, like, hey, there's not enough time for me to let you guys figure this out, where something might change, something might happen. So with that, you've got Hartman, Johansson, and Trenton that are playing great. You've got the top line that's playing great, but you've got 2 that aren't. So if you need to be a 3-line team, you might have to switch something up, and that's what I'll be curious to see. We'll know in about a half an hour here if Hines will change something up. I don't think you'd want to break up that 3rd line right now because they've been so awesome, but the Eriksson, Ekfelino, Tarasenko line hasn't been good, and something probably needs to switch. So we'll see how long a leash some of these guys have, and what gets changed. But I do think things will change fast.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see. I think this trip helps in the sense, the pattern we've been hearing from Jacques Lemaire is our guest today, and he talks about this at times in his interview, but this idea that when you're a family, you win, right? I told you the Dallas Cowboys documentary, Michael Irvin, teams don't win championships, families do. And I'm hoping this time on the road, away from all the distractions early in the year, get some mojo, get some dinners together, get comfortable as a group, especially because there's some new pieces. I'm really hoping that they gel and come together as a group and start to have that family style output. Because you got Colorado with 5 points and Dallas with 4 already out of the chute. They both played another game more than us, but it's going to be a dogfight. The West is going to be nasty.
Yeah, West is going to be tough, and that's, I think, I think
you got to eat on the. I think you got to eat on the East. I'm hoping like Philly and even the Rangers, the Devils, the Caps. Like I'm hoping that the West is stronger than the East, and you start banking points.
And I'm sure as management and coaching staff look at the West, they realize that, and that's part of the reason why every point matters and why there's pressure for Game 3. Even LA right now is under huge pressure. I think Hiller, the LA coach, might be the first one gone. He might have 10 games, and if he's 3-7, he's 1-2 right now. If he's 3-7, gone, because that's how tight the West is. And LA is a team with Kopitar.
Last year,
they're going to do the Bergeron of Boston a couple years ago, where they're going to absolutely unload to try to do everything they can to make sure that they'll win in Kopitar's last year. So LA, they're going to be a desperate club too. And Hiller, we'll see. But, there's pressure in the West to win, no doubt about it. But if you're going to feast on the East and you've got the TV tray out, where are you buying your snacks?
I would head to Cub if I was going to feast on the East, because right now, it might just stay warm here for a couple months. There's this rumor going around that Minnesotans are passing to each other that like, hey, it just might be unseasonably warm. Well, even if it isn't, go over to Cub, get your chips, get your dips, get your baked beans, maybe some of those baked beans with the bacon in there. Those are fun. If you want to go get some refreshments, some libations. Some of the Cub stores have that. They do deliver. They've also got a lot of local brands that they'll try out local companies. Like you could probably get your honey into Cub if you wanted to. We should try to connect that dot. But they will take on local kind of up-and-coming brands that are right here in the heartland. That's why we love them. They love sports. They're on PJ's headset. They're doing the Homer Hankies for the Twins. They sponsor the Wild podcast. Go support Cub. You know, they're calling the rink the house. I heard somebody say that, and if you needed, the house always wins. Seems like an odd advertisement for Grand Casino, but as a player, you know, if you had a house and you needed to take care of it, what would you do?
That's a good transition,
Yeah,
because
I'm back.
I feel like all of these things that I talk about are house related.
They are. That's why I gave that one to you. It's meaty.
It's meaty. But the first thing I would do is take care of my water, because I do have problem water. So if you're like me and have problem water, like PFAS, which found out I do have rust and hard water, I've got a Kinetico system that takes care of all of that, whether it's the reverse osmosis system that we drink our water from, clean, crisp, tasty, good water, or the water softener downstairs that uses very little salt, but keeps the dishes spotless. You got to use much less shampoo. Your hair, skin, everything else feels better. And the best part about Aquarius is they have a free water analysis. So go to Aquarius.com and check out that deal. Hassle-free, no problem analysis of your water. They're earning the right to be recommended. Check them out, AquariusHomeservices.com. That was good. We're getting there.
I feel like I've been really not putting it on your tape a lot.
That was
so
on my tape.
I was thinking ahead of that. It's like you got to think before you get the pass. Someone told me this. It might have been you. You got to think about where you're going to go next. So I'm trying to bring that to the ads.
Thank you.
Aren't you supposed to do two?
I was waiting for the second pass, baby.
Hey, now let's not.
I thought you were setting the second one up. I thought you were gonna be like, I'm on Ryan Hartman's level right now. I'm just. I
didn't listen to your first one, so I don't know which one you did. So why don't you do the other one?
All right. Well, our friends at Wild Construction will take care of you and your house, the house, if we want it to be that. They do specialize in roof repair. So if you had a storm in your area, they've got the resources on their website where you can check it out, see if there was a storm. They've got like a little heat map, and they'll get somebody over, look at your roof. I think there might still be a little bit of time for them to get on your roof right now.
Yeah.
They probably won't get the work done until after winter. And sometimes it can take up to 12 months for some of the damage from these storms to show up. So it doesn't cost you anything. Get to their website, check it out. If you have any other problems right now, like whether it might be ice damming in the winter and you don't want to deal with that this year, siding, windows, doors, anything on your exterior, they can help you out. Wild Construction, they'll make it happen. You can find them at wildconstruction.com.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
So you wanted to talk a little bit about Kaprizov. Actually, I'll start with this. How about how things unfolded? Because we haven't talked about it. Kaprizov signs the deal, and he ends up getting 17 by 8. Big number. And then it was like a day later, McDavid says, I'm signing for 2 years by 12.5. And then it was a day later, Jack Eichel goes, well, I'm signing 8 by 13.5 or something. And I think when those two deals came out, there was all of a sudden a little bit more pressure on Kaprizov to perform and to get off to a good start. And Bill Guerin always says this, players want to earn their money. And I think Kaprizov probably falls into that camp. So he probably saw those deals too and felt an internal pressure to produce. And he got off to a torrid start last year. And was he going to be able to do that again this year? Well, if he didn't, I think you could be hearing things in the stands like 17 million, show up, or some type of chirp, right? He has. And I think that's probably best case scenario for Kaprizov and for everybody else, because I think he's proven doesn't matter what the dollar amount is. He is worth it.
Yeah, it's funny, the McDavid deal, right? So say Kirill had done the same thing. The only caveat I'll say is if Kirill just randomly decided to give his money to other players on the Wild roster, I would have been the first one to say it was cool. And it was, what a winner, of course. But part of this is McDavid is a nightmare for us internationally in hockey, so I'm not a big Connor McDavid guy. And the Minnesota sports fan side of this is what's drove me nuts. Everyone, all they wanted was us to sign Kirill. That was all anybody wanted. We get it done.
Yeah.
And within 48 hours, because of Kumbaya Connor, Johnny Appleseed, whatever he is, everyone now, he could have done this, or he could have wanted to win more than he did. I think it's complete nonsense. And actually, there's a part of this that bothers me about hockey in general. This whole honest game, I still remember vividly when Ovechkin had the hot stick when he scored 60 or 50, and the whole league was like, they didn't like that because no one's bigger than the game. All this stuff, I think it actually holds us back, right? This is a great player. His agent got him the most money he could get him. What's the problem? It's a capitalist sport. And I went deep into this, Karts, because I was looking at team-friendly. So I went on the internet and I was looking up the history of team-friendly deals across all of sports, the most famous ones, right? So McDavid's basically doing a Crosby. Crosby famously signs for 8.7. They get more money. He's won 3 cups, okay? Truth is, Connor wants to get out of Edmonton with a great PR story if he needs to. Yes, he'd love to win the cup in Edmonton, but if he doesn't, guess what he wants to do? He wants to get the hell out of there, write a 1-page article.
Well, you know what else 12.5 says? 2 years? It says Edmonton was the problem, not me.
That's right. And
I gave Edmonton a chance.
He writes the 1-page article in the newspaper thanking Edmonton, and he's gone, and no one can say a thing. So he's basically built himself a parachute. So if you want to be Kumbaya, Connor, unless he wins the cup, it's just a parachute. It's just a PR move to get out of town, right? And we have Kirill marrying us, as you said. All he did was say, here's a promise ring, right? If anybody even does that anymore. Now, and some of these guys are going to be suckers, right? If everybody's saying, I'm going to take less because that's the trend in hockey. I would just be laughing if I was an owner, right? What? And so I looked at 2 things. These are 2 just food for thought. Okay. I'm not saying it's not cool that McDavid's donating some of his money to get help. I get it. I'm not naive, but a couple things. So Tom Brady was famous for this. Tom Brady always kept his salary at 15% of the team. Okay. Now, football has a 53-man roster, but really only 22 guys play. It's about the same as hockey. There's 11 starters on offense, 11 on defense. Of course, special teams matters, blah, blah, blah. But 15% of 22, Kirill's going to be 15% of our cap in 3 years once it goes up. It's not like this contract.
That's halfway through his deal.
But it's going to age well. The other thing I look at is 2 players, okay? Look at Leon added with Connor. That's 26.5. Look at Marner added with Eichel. That's 25. Look at Boldy added with Kirill. That's 24. Now, Matt's on a 7x7, which is crazy, right? But, I'm kind of I look at the optics of all of this. Everything's timing. I think it's going to age well. I think he's one of the best players in the league. Stay healthy.
Yeah.
And let's rock.
The top 2 at 24 is a good.
That's the norm. It's not like we're.
That's a good point. It is a good point.
You have to think in the whole picture of it, and also I don't fault a guy
for getting. No, I don't either. No teammate does. But there is a correlation between cap space and money spent and winning.
Sure.
If
copyright Florida Panthers.
This doesn't count. Because I don't think this was in its time Matt Boldy 7x7 right now, but
we were nervous about it when he signed that. If you remember, it felt like he was paying him for what he could become.
Yeah.
Now I look at it and I go, how did that even happen?
But you also have to know they didn't know it was a flat cap era for 7 years.
That's right.
That was a huge deal. In hindsight, it's always 20/20, but at that time that was a monster deal. But where I was going with that was, Colorado won the Cup because they had Nathan MacKinnon signed on a long-term deal for $6 million. He was worth 12, making 6. So they could use that money other places. They win the Cup because of that. There's a correlation between catching those guys on good deals and having the money to spend other places. And now Colorado and Bednar's on the hot seat because Colorado can't get out of the first round because guys are making more money. They had to get rid of Rantanen. They have to get rid of certain guys. They got to bring in Natchez. And there's a correlation to it, though. So as much as you want two guys making $25 million, it still would be better if it was your best 2 guys making $19 million.
Oh, of course.
So
but it's other things. You need Zeev to be good on his rookie deal.
And they have a plan.
You need Rossi to keep getting better every single year, which is what his career has been.
Yeah. And now you see Bill. I think you can start to see Billy's the full plan. You've got 2 studs at 25. You've got a young guy in Bouillon that might need to hit in 2 or 3 years where the cap is going to be much higher and there's going to be room, and you've got Faber locked in. You see the plan. You can see it. But now, to your point, it's probably time for them to go execute and get some experience. And
I do think you're going to see Billy add some wild card to the deck. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I do think some name is going to walk into the locker room at some point this season. We're a kind of guy we want on the podcast because he's got profile, right? It's an unexpected development. I just think I was listening to the radio and Barrero loves to kind of stir the pot, right? And they were talking, could you say that he was greedier for taking more money than this guy took? And somebody said, it'd be hard not to say that. I'm like, what are you talking about?
He had no clue what those guys' deals are.
That's not how it works. You cannot.
He had no clue what those guys' deals were.
You can't look backwards and decide that somebody, you got to consider the order of events and how it happened. And to get paid, to be great, is, as far as I know, that's how business works. That's how America works. So I don't have a problem with it.
We got to pivot to this. And again, our guest today is Jacques Lemaire, which is awesome. We'll get to him in a minute. But the 25th anniversary and having those guys around, I thought that was a really good play. I loved that. We had Bob Mason, Jacques Lemaire, Ramsey.
Mario.
Yeah, Mario. And having those guys on the ice, ceremonial puck drop, and just kind of around the building. They had a Q&A before the game. They came onto the broadcast. It felt special having them around. It felt good.
Yeah, they were at Herbie's after in the corner table. It was great.
Yeah,
and Jacques is kind of this. You're going to really enjoy this interview when we get to it. It's just he's got a little of that Lou Nanne, man of mystery, Sarasota, Florida. He's had a few jobs where he's a special consultant. He worked with Lou Lamoriello a long time. You can't really find out much about this guy, but he's just a charming guy who loves coaching.
Yeah.
For as good as he was as a player, it's amazing that he wants to give. He believes it's better to give than receive.
Yeah, and that was probably my number one takeaway. Where when we have, and I don't want to ruin it all, but we talk about how he identifies himself in the game of hockey and what he cares about most, and the answer surprised me a little bit. But the reason he gave, it makes total sense.
Do you know that I didn't ask him about this because when we were interviewing him, it was kind of, you had to make some choices, but he basically walked away as a player. He had a deal, and it, as I understand it, was like $250,000 a year for like 5 years. And he just stopped playing. He just was like, no. And he went away. And he didn't play hockey anymore. And he started coaching eventually. But so, I mean, he's a kind of an interesting guy. I mean, he was a picture of consistency as a player. Scored, I don't know if it was 20 or 30 goals, 12 years in a row, won 8 cups. I mean, but he clearly was like, this is not my passion.
Hey, with that, the 25th anniversary, I say, Huss, why don't we get to our little trivia game right now? So again, if you haven't caught up the last couple of episodes, we're trying to go through a little game where we ask Huss will ask John and I a couple of questions about a player, and we're trying to identify who this player is. It'll be a former Minnesota Wild player, probably somewhere in the top tier of it.
All right, we're going to kick this off a little dorky here. In 2012, I stood in the beer line with this person at a concert for the Tragically Hip, one of the greatest Canadian rock bands ever.
Wow, that's good.
Oh, so unless we were at that concert, so I would assume he's a Canadian. Okay. 2012. I'm going to be terrible at this game, by the way, but just keep going. You can't guess yet.
I can't guess yet, but I have.
All right, he played his junior hockey with the Oshawa Generals. And then was later drafted in the third round of the 2006 entry draft, 72nd overall.
I'll go Cal Clutterbuck.
Boom.
Yes.
Jeez.
Boom. One rip for the good guys.
So, okay, for the listeners, so first of all, Ryan Carter played on the Wild. Had a whole era that he played on it. He's encyclopedic of his knowledge of the league. He's an analyst. If you would have said this guy had Clark Gable hair and was famous for his warm-up where he would skate on his own into the glass like a bull. This guy was at Crave a lot and used to like to get out and see people in the community. I would have had Clutterbuck for days. All-time hits leader.
Yeah, how I got
Oshawa
there was
Generals?
how I got there was Tragically Hip, which I think tells you he's Canadian.
Yes.
So you knew Canadian. Then 2012. So
I can't
he would have
figure
been
out
going
the-
to a concert in 2012, Tragically Hip. That puts him in a birth year of somewhere in the 80s, like the 90s, like 80, probably 6 to 94 kind of. And then when he said Oshawa Generals, I was thinking pure Marc Bouchard could be in that camp or somebody like that. But when he said Oshawa Generals, I was like, okay, well, now this is a Western guy. And then, boom, it was drafted third round. I also knew he was probably somewhere in that range. Boom, Cal Clutterbuck.
Yeah, he was fun, man. I liked Clutterbuck.
Those were good questions, Huss. Let's give
my
it.
next tip was mustache.
Oh, that's too easy. That's got to be the last one.
I would say he was more of the. He did the Clark Gable. He did the hair and warm-ups that Jamie Benn does now before Jamie Benn.
I think Cal Clutterbuck, he should be considered almost in the same breath as like some of the guys from Detroit that were like Chris Draper, fourth line guys that were like mainstays on teams that helped teams truly win. Like Cal Clutterbuck, for a guy that you thought all he does is hit, he did a lot more than that. That guy played, and to be able to have tenure on a team as a fourth line guy. So whenever teams don't have success, I mean, this is science. What turns over is not your top six. It's your bottom six. They've got to give the team a new look. You can't move 7x7, 8x17. You're not moving those pieces. What do you move?
Fourth line.
The third line. Your D-man 3 through 6, right? And Cal Clutterbuck was so solid and so good at what he did that guy almost never got moved, and a staple every night. He was protected in the expansion drafts.
The first time I heard
Fourth line guy protected in expansion drafts.
First time I heard the phrase identity line was his line with the Islanders when they went on that run, and those three guys were just incredibly difficult to play against. And so he'd be a great podcast guest, by the way.
We'll have to get him.
He was a
That's
beauty.
a good one, Huss.
That guy wheeled around the Twin Cities when he played here.
Yeah.
I'm sure a few listeners have. There's more than one.
Back in the St. Paul days, so Plums in St. Paul, and
There's more than one person that sat in a drink line with Cal Clutterbuck.
not Moose Country, but we'll throw this to the interview with Jacques Lemaire now. But Moose Country gets a mention from Lilydale. Yeah, there you go. Apparently, that was the hot spot for the coaches to go 5 minutes after a game, and it was great. Jacques tells a story, short, albeit that post-game wasn't about deliberation or talking about the game. It was about pretzels and beer, so that's great. Yeah, we're here.
Till it's here.
All right, Jacques Lemaire, here you go.
Well, it's the Wild's 25th season, and do we have a guest today? The legend himself, Jacques Lemaire, one of the 100 greatest players ever to play. He's got 11 Stanley Cups. That's almost a full gallon of cups, if you're wondering. He's got a rink named after him. He's in the Hall of Fame. He took us on that magical run in 2003, and we are thrilled to have you here, Mr. Lemaire. Welcome back to the State of Hockey.
Pleasure to be back. Pleasure to be back.
Yeah, and how does it feel coming back to Minnesota? And
Just great.
Yeah.
The only thing I regret is not getting my flight earlier. Maybe spending a couple more days than only 3 days.
Where do you live now? You're a man of mystery. I could find no information about you, which is a compliment. But where do you live?
I live in Florida, right close to Sarasota.
Okay.
But in the summer, I go to Montreal. Go back to Montreal. I have a cottage there.
Oh, yes, this is right. Lake Champlain.
I used to go there, Lake Champlain, but I'm in the Laurentians in Montreal, and it's Lake LaBelle,
Okay.
a lake that I was going there, the whole family, when we were young, and we bought a cottage there.
And I got to say, just to get us rolling, when you were coaching, your post-game press conferences were my absolute, I loved it. And I was young, and I still knew how special they were. So I just wonder, a couple of moments I wanted to see if you remember that were some of my favorites was one time you got LASIK eye surgery, and I remember you did the press conference, and you go, I see too much. I need to go back, get my old eyes. And then I loved when you would talk about Bugard as well, and all the Kim Janssen stuff with Brad May. But did you enjoy doing that? Is that a side of, was that kind of fun for you, or was it just sort of a happy accident?
Well, it could be an accident, but it's the only place that I had fun with the reporters. Everywhere I coach, it was different. But I don't know, here, the media was different. You know, they wanted to be part of it in my thoughts, knowing what I wanted to do. And when I was joking, well, they got into it and started to ask me other questions that I could joke on it.
Yeah, they were just must listen.
And would you use it at times to be a distraction? Like if you didn't want to talk about like a certain player or the way that was going, you throw a joke out there and kind of just change the tone?
Yeah, exactly. You know, sometime just not to put pressure on the players or anything like that. That you get a question and then you make a joke, then you know, you try to bring them on another place there.
I've got to ask, we have this, a card of yours, I think from 78. And since we brought up the fact that you go to Montreal and spend some time on the lake, these cards are pretty sweet because the fun fact, it says you enjoy water skiing, and then it says it in French on the back. So the card has his stats, and then it says in the summer he water skis. So are you a water sports fan? Like, is that what?
Oh, when I was young, yeah, I used to get in shape, because it wasn't like today. To get in shape, I used to cross the lake back and forth.
On the water skis?
Swimming.
Oh, swimming.
That's
great.
That is hard work.
And the lake was maybe half a mile wide. So, you know, so it was a good ride to go across. And that was our training. We didn't know.
Yeah.
It was not organized like today. But I enjoy it, and we water ski. Some of the guys, Larry Robinson, Guy Lapointe, Régent Hull, some of the guys that I played with, they came at the cottage, and we all water ski every summer. So.
Did you have to buy a bigger set for Larry Robinson? That's a big guy to try to get on a couple of skis.
He went on that same skis.
So when you think back on all your time in hockey, do you kind of see yourself as more a player or more a coach, or because you've had all roles, you know, when you reflect on it, like and you think about who Jacques was in hockey, what would you say?
I would say a little more coach. You know, I still coach, 16, 17 years.
Yeah.
I played 12 years, but maybe because, before retiring, it was in the coaching. Maybe that's why I think of me as a coach. More.
Yeah, interesting. No, I like that. I see you as a coach. I didn't get to grow up watching you play, but you were a coach, and that's why I'm just curious how you thought of that. Super interesting. Now, I want to get into some of the coaching things. We watched today's game and the coach, and are you familiar with how they get right back to their computers and they're watching video? And how has coaching changed from when you were coaching to kind of how these guys
Not the same video. No, today they spend a lot of time on videos, the coaches. I remember, because my game was simple in a way, how I wanted the guys to play, and I tried to make it as simple as possible for them. So when I was looking at tapes, I still had in mind that certain things we didn't do well, either in the first, second, or third period. And these things, that's what I wanted to see on tape.
Yeah.
So I could make practices so the guys could be better in what we don't do well. So it was, in a way, it was very simple. It's what did we do well in this game and what we didn't do well. So 3/4 of the practice was what we didn't do well, and a quarter was what we did well.
Yeah, interesting. So what was I've heard that maybe Moose Country was the spot. So after games, you wouldn't maybe go right to the computer and watch the video. You'd maybe chill out first at Moose Country.
No way. No way.
You're right out of the ring.
After a game was time for a beer.
So it was boom. Game's over. See you later, players. We'll
go to the Moose.
That's outstanding. I got to ask you, so we know you as a coach, but Karts, right? This guy, 12 seasons in a row with 20 goals. He wins the cup. For you listeners, 68, 69, 71, 73, 76, 77, 78, 79. So back then, the culture has changed. Now these guys win the Stanley Cup. You live down in Florida. I think they partied for 3 months. They never stopped. They were probably in Sarasota at some point. What was it like back then when you won the Cup? Did you get they didn't do the day with the Stanley Cup or any of that. Like when you were? No,
we didn't have the Cup. Only... I think my last Stanley Cup that we had the cup, we could bring it at home. We had a couple days with it. But prior to that, never. We had today, the parade, and then after we had to go through all the bars in Montreal that... We hang out at times.
Yep. Well, you won it so much, the cup was probably there.
And all the one that invited us. So it was a tough week after winning the cup. But I'm sure it is for the guys today, too, because it's such an achievement. When you think about it, it's not a sport that is easy to win the cup. You get the guys, you got 4 series, 4 playoffs there, and you got to go through the best team at that point, and you got to beat them to finally win the cup. It's tough. So
you got to be good, you got to be tough, you got to be lucky, you got to be all of it.
You have to let it go after, and it takes, it takes time after to recover from all that.
Well, we'd be remiss. We got to hear this magical run in 2003. Obviously, you won a cup with the Devils as well, had great teams, but that group, they seem to call themselves misfits. That's what I've heard some of them say. This is the era of expansion. They were sent off, to Minnesota and came together as a group. What's your memory of that group and that run, and just what was happening in the locker room that made that team special?
Well, I think to try to win the final trophy, you got to have a team that believes in what they're doing. You got to have players that like each other. They want to play with, on the same line. They want to be part of it. They want to gel together. They want to be friends. They want to be like a family. And myself, I watched them grow to that point. Not that we had the best players, but after we played one series and then came back from 3-1 deficit, because we were 3-1 deficit against Vancouver. We came back, and then I could see the players that, hey, we never know. We never know where we could go with these guys because they believe so much. And when you're at that point, it seems that if they shoot, they hit the post. If you shoot, it's going to go in. You get a break here or there, and that makes it. And that's what happened against Colorado. Colorado was a great team. They won the Cup before.
Was there a moment in that Vancouver series where you felt things like switch? I mean, you were down, 3-1, and then rip off 3 in a row. Was there like a moment in Game 5, call it, where you're like, or Game 4 or something?
I think I would say Game 5. Game 6.
That's Richard Park, yeah? Is Game 6 maybe? I don't remember.
I think it's Game 6 because we won big against them, so 7-something. And then I felt that, holy cow, we got a chance to win. We got a chance to beat them.
Did you do stuff like you think of Phil Jackson, the basketball coach, and what you said about family? I've been seeing this. I've been watching these documentaries about great teams, and it seems like they love each other. They're a family off the ice. Did you do things to create that, or does it just happen?
I can't get credit for that. The only thing I did is bringing stuff that will give them a chance to win. So they had to be disciplined everywhere on everything they do. Mm-hmm. So by doing that would probably bring them to where I want them to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying by that? Yeah. By being very disciplined on everything, then I got to think about the other guy if I'm like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Then I got to work for the other guy. So you create that family a little bit there. Mm-hmm.
There's an interesting story, I think maybe at the time you were playing, but Scotty Bowman would check on you guys through curfew, and he would check to see if the TV was warm. So if it was a 10:30 curfew, come in and check to see the TV. If the TV was cold, he'd be like, they weren't here, or they just snuck back. So
when I was junior, he had a key to get in the rooms, and we had. He said, you guys got to go to bed at 11 o'clock, lights out, no TV, nothing. So he comes in quick, right away goes touch the TV, check if the TV's warm, and then went out and go back. That was funny.
You have any like when you became coach, or you have any tricks like that, or do you do anything?
That wouldn't be one of my tricks.
Because there's also a story that says, and I've heard this before too, where coaches would want the visiting room set to a certain temperature because if it was too hot, they'd be uncomfortable, or they'd paint the walls pink or something.
In Boston, they did that with us in the playoffs.
Yeah. But no, you wouldn't do any of that. I heard one story where you made the visitors at XL Energy Center walk the other way, so it was like 3/4 way around the rink instead of
that maybe.
What?
That's probably the only thing.
That's the only one. Okay.
Yeah, I said let them walk through the people a little bit.
Yeah, get them distracted.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what do you watch hockey now? Do you like? I'm just curious. The game is changed so much. We have all this skill and guys trying to carry the puck on their stick, and lacrosse moves and everything else. I'm just curious if you watch NHL hockey now and what you think of the changes.
I do watch. I was involved with the Islanders till last July, and now I'm retired for good. And I still watch. I watch the exhibition games. I watch the first game. I think hockey is, well, it's better than ever. Let's face it. The talent today, it's incredible, the speed. Everything is better. Really, it's you can't compare. It's decades. Things change, and now I don't think people will talk about the past in hockey and try to compare to today. You can't, right. And probably in 20 years, it'll be different. It will be. So personally, I love the game. It's amazing what we can do by teaching people, the skills. They didn't get the skills on their own.
Yeah.
Most of them. Forget the McDavid, but most of everybody else, there's people around, people do this, try this, do that, do this. Us, we had nobody. You can't do it, you go back in the minors.
Yeah. So you were known for being a very structured coach, I think, on the bench end with your teams on the ice. Do you think that could be successful in today's game with all the skill and everything you see out there?
I don't see why not. Because I see a similar game that we were played today. What we were doing when I was coaching, a lot of the stuff they do it today.
Yeah.
But
so a lot they don't though. Like you were a strong line matcher. Like you love to match lines.
Yeah,
and get
that
the
they
matchup.
don't.
Now
That
you
they
don't see much of that.
Well, no, because you have parity in the league. You got a match if you don't have nobody to play against Crosby. If there's not one guy that is a good skater, how can you play against McDavid, as an example?
I was going to ask you, you coach so many interesting personalities from, Danico to Scott Stevens to Bugard and
Wes Walz.
Wes Walz. If you had to put a little group together, maybe it's a golf foursome or you're having a couple beers at the Moose. Who are some of your biggest personalities that just made you laugh and you just thought these guys are one of a kind?
The first one, I got to go with Bill.
Billy Guerin?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you had him in the year you guys won the cup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was young Billy Guerin like?
Funny. He made me. He could relax me. I could say that. He was so funny. I laughed so much with this guy.
What did he do? What was his?
Jokes, just the way he is. I used to look at him and start to laugh, even when he made a mistake. No, he's got to be my number one. The other ones, oh my God.
How about Minnesota? Who was when you kind of think
it's got to be Wes Waltz.
Oh, I got to hear about young Wes, because Wes is still, even Wes plays a charity game now. He's keeping track of his plus minus. So what was he? Was he a serious guy when he was young, or what was?
Very dedicated. Hey, dedicated like no one else. Dedicated to his job, doing his preparation, getting ready.
Accepting a role.
Accepting a role. But accepting a role, I don't like that, accepting a role.
Well, he gives you a lot of credit for teaching him to take pride in the defensive side of it.
It's not just a role. This guy could play. He played against the top line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, every top line in the NHL. I look a couple years there, and I was stunned to see his stats playing against the top line the other side. Okay, you're going to say, well, Lemaire's a defensive player and this and that. What's the goal? The goal is to win games, okay, and be better than the other team. And Wes is the proof of that. You look at his stats, he's a plus player playing against a top player.
Mm-hmm.
A plus player. That's something.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, sorry, Cards, I'll just do one more. My all-time moment listening to you on the press conference was when I think May punched Johnson out, and they said, he wants to fight. We have one of those, number 24, biggest guy on the team. But he wants to fight Kim. What was Boogie like? I'll never forget the sound of the crowd when they wanted him to have a shift. Obviously a gentle giant. We lost him and everything.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Mr. Booger. But what was Boogie like, the Boogeyman?
Boogie, big teddy bear. He was, everything is fine. Want to work, want to improve, stayed after practices to get better. He wanted to play hockey, and he was a tough guy, I can tell you that.
That's for sure.
I can tell you that.
Maybe nobody more scary. Like nobody better at intimidating and scaring.
The guy that was the most scary about him is me. I was afraid that, something happened when he gets in a fight.
To the other guy.
To the
Somebody's
other guy, not to me.
Somebody's getting hurt, yeah.
You're an accomplice to murder.
That's it. So, he was strong, naturally strong, and, he knew his role. Not that saying that I was sending him. He knew it. He knew it. Let me go, I'll go, But, no, I enjoy working with him because he wanted to get better. And when a guy wants to get better, it's fun for a coach.
Yeah. Rotating captains, you did that early on. Any particular reason?
I didn't want to get one guy because, we started the franchise and I said I'd rather have a change every month in captains. And we had young guys that I didn't want to put them captain really, I couldn't find one guy that is ready to be our captain, and I didn't want to put these couple good young guys as a captain because I don't think it's good for them when they're young.
Yeah.
Let them worry about their game, improving their game, and get on top.
Yeah. Don't worry about having to make everybody else better.
That's it.
Focus on your game first.
Focus
and
on
once
you.
you get there, we'll give you a letter.
We'll have time for that, Captain.
Yeah, we'll get you a letter.
And you know what? It was great. I know you can't do that with an established team. Maybe you can. I don't know. But I'm glad I did that because, Mario was telling me today. Yes, he told me yesterday. He said, I got to tell you one thing. He says, when you put Bugard as a captain, he says, I'm talking about this, and he says, I still have chills. And that's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I think I just got him right there.
And he said, I got chills because I saw the guys, how happy they were for Boogie. He says some of the guys in the room, they nearly were crying because they were happy for this guy.
That's special.
That is special.
That's what you're talking about. That's a group that is tight.
That's it.
That's wonderful.
That's what you're looking for.
I was going to ask you, so you bounced back from Florida and Montreal, but now you said you wish you spent more time here. When you come back to Minnesota, what's on your list? You got places you want to eat? Do you play golf? Do you need to see a lake? Or like what have you missed about the state of hockey, and what do you try to do when you visit?
Well, get to with Mason.
Bobby Mays.
He wants me to play golf with him.
Not so bad.
Go back to Tom's Bar.
Moose Country.
Yeah. What else? Couple restaurant that we want to go. Yep. Some of them
have closed.
Have closed.
Are you like a Mancini's guy? You would like Mancini's, wouldn't you? What's your spots? Where do you like to eat?
Me, I eat everything. Everything. Really special plates. I'm not, as long as it's well prepared,
You're not picky.
Oh, no, I'm not picky at all.
Hey, there's a story that says before you agreed to coach, when Riseborough was the GM, or you said you wanted the jersey and to see the jersey before you would agree to coach this team. Is that true, and why?
Yes, it is.
Well, I got to hear this.
It is. I've seen jersey that, and I said at that time, I said, geez, I wouldn't like to be behind that team, because the color and I wouldn't like to be coaching that team because the look of the jersey. And I was kind of not worried, but excited to see what the jersey looked like, the color and the logo. So I said, Doug, you got to send me. I just want to get familiar with the sweater. But it's a true story.
Interesting.
That's great. You were part of the staff in Vancouver that won gold. Are you excited about international hockey as well? Like, did you watch the Four Nations? Will you be excited for the Olympics in Italy this year?
Yeah, I will watch. I watched last year. Prior years, I didn't. I was not interested. Now it looks like they have a good pattern.
Yes.
The teams that are involved, it's exciting, and I think it's going to be just better and better as the year goes, because they finally got a good formula for the Four Nations.
So last one for me before we let you move on, and appreciate the time. But you've got more Stanley Cups than fingers, but you have one ring on. It's the Devil's ring. Why is that the one?
That's a good The Devils, when we won the cup, coaching and player is different. Player, you're thinking about a little bit you. In a sense, to do what's necessary to be performing at your best to help the team. As a coach, you got 20 guys. You win as a player, you know, it's everyone that won. Everyone is there. And then as a coach, it's the player that does it. Mm-hmm. And you're part of that. And being part of that what I saw the last game, when I saw the players, how excited they were, that I said, there's nothing like this.
And so there's a reward to winning when you play. There's a reward to winning when you coach, and there's a reward to winning in management, and it's different at each level.
Yeah.
And the one that's maybe most rewarding to you is being in the meat grinder as a coach with the players, but watching them do it.
Yeah.
And being on the periphery, but close enough to influence them.
And you know, there's so many things that brings you there. The players, the way they react, how they improve to get there, how they gel together, how they sacrifice together, how they believe they can do it, and the success they get, and then the cries that they have. It's like their kids. It's like your kids.
Yeah.
You know, as a player, you know, it's great. You're playing hockey, score a goal, win the cup. It's great.
Yeah.
But it's not like, you know, you try to put 20 guys together, 22 guys together. Hey, you guys, that's where we're going.
It's more rewarding to help somebody else succeed than succeed yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely. No, I can't follow that up. I did want to ask you about Elvis Presley, but I think that's maybe the best answer, that, you know, giving the gift to a team as a coach is better than receiving one as a player. So that says a lot about you. Thank you for joining us, and have fun tonight at the home opener, and we're thrilled you're back in Minnesota.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.